Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Abby Hagyard. This is my tiny little office on a 15th floor overlooking stuff in the capital of Canada. And it's nice and bright and sunny today. And even when it isn't nice and bright and sunny, it is very nice and bright and sunny in this room. I made a point of it. So I want to talk to you about a couple of things today that are really timely, really important. And before I do that, I want to talk about connection and engagement. I want to talk about the struggles we are all dealing with more and more as we kind of get out of the habit of just reaching out person to person and saying, hey, did you deliberately wear that today? If we are consumed, as many of us are, because we're busy, and but if we're consumed with the tools we use more than the reasons we use them for, we lose a lot of quality in the connections that we're making. This is my personal take on it. The reason for a tool is to extend our reach, is to extend our stamina, our strength. It's not to replace it. And the virtual connections that we make, if we can follow up at any time in any way beyond the texting, if we can reach out and say, hey, I want to hear your voice and I want to see your face in motion while we're talking, it's the next best thing to being there, as it used to say on the commercial. And I don't think there is any amount of technology that separates us more permanently, more divisively than that can help us truly remember who we are, remember what it's like to reflect and react. And so by saying all of that, I want to do a special shout out to a bunch of people on LinkedIn who are taking second and third looks at these videos I'm doing, because you hold important positions in your organizations. You are tasked with bringing people together. And it's not a kumbaya, although that certainly is a nice side product. The end game is productivity and performance and commitment and engagement. And what's that over there? Curiosity. Because what separates us from everything else is our innate ability to leverage our curiosity and create what was not there before. We can be a lot like a lot of other species, but we originate in ways that almost none of them do. And I don't want to elevate us and say humans are best. No, it's what sets us apart. And we do that most powerfully. Good morning, Eddie. We do that initiating and that creating and that originating most powerfully when we're kibitzing, when we're collaborating, when we're jamming, when we're brainstorming. Why? Because two brains doing that is an exponential outcome in the making. You know, the entire collection, the Pivotry in Motion collection, this is the most ambitious project I think, ever taken on of all the projects. It's a 10-book collection. And it had to be 10 because, first of all, nobody has arms that strong. And secondly, I wanted this to be bite-sized and delicious. I wanted people to be able to just snack on, chew on, think on, and revisit and make notes about each specific part of what's going on. Good morning, Miss Maggie. How are you? And I've been on that path, finding ways to make it exciting and curiosity triggering, to give people reasons to think beyond. I mean, we all have to do the nose to the grindstone in one way or another at some time or another. Even if it's our own work and we love it, there are still tedious things we have to do. Editing, for example, is my personal, it's like naming blades of grass, really. After the first 50, you just want to call them all Bob, but you can't, right? So in the conversation today, I'm going to bring us back. So by the way, just to wrap that up with LinkedIn, you LinkedIn folks, what you seem to be doing is telling each other to check this out. Because it's not just a few people from this group. It's a few people from this group, and then the next day, a few more people from that group. And then the next week, a few more people from that group. And that is telling me that word of mouth is alive and well on LinkedIn. And I certainly know it is on Facebook, and I know it is on YouTube. But I'm kind of a newbie in the whole LinkedIn thing. So I just wanted to say, from the new kid on the block, thank you, and keep it up. And tell your friends to keep it up. Now back to us and this conversation. Today, the conversation is about something that I started back in 2006. So that's a couple of days ago, right? And what happened was the bottom fell out of my show business career. I once owned an ancient Volkswagen Jeep thing. In fact, it's the reason that Roger Price hired me to co-star on You Can't Do It on Television. It was a bright orange corrugated metal Jeep with nothing in it that was kind to any part of your body except possibly the seats. And everything else was just bare bones. I came out of the house one day, and I had the top down. I came out of the house one day, and I tossed something in the back seat, and I heard it make an odd noise. And I looked, and it had gone right through the floor onto the pavement below. And I hadn't noticed that the floor was rotting because the color of the car was the color of rust. And I said to myself, now what? Because, by the way, now what? So in 2006, when the bottom fell out of show business, hence the story, I got in touch with a very clever woman who was doing a lot of great things, including being part of the creative crew on Pretty Women. So she earned her stripes. And I said to her, I want to start a consulting business. And I've been in show business a long time. And show business is basically life being imitated shamelessly by art. And I've learned a lot about human nature. And I've learned a lot about business. I've learned a lot about consistency and stamina and originality and standing your ground. And I think a lot of people could use that. So she and I put our heads together for a while. And what the end product was is called Now What Strategies. So what now is when the phone has rung 50 times. Now what is when you realize that the phone hadn't rung because the battery was dead. And you have no idea. You have no idea what you've missed. Now what? Now what? Because you were waiting for something special. So a now what strategy is actually a navigational tool. And it's a navigational tool for people who are at a crossroads. Now, the people that I knew and know are going to, of course, be like me. They could be military kids. They most likely are self-starters, they're entrepreneurs, they're creative, they're decision makers. And so a now what strategy is good for people in business, it's good for people in careers, it's good for people just living. And where it happens that we need it is when we hit a crossroads. The slogan for Now What Strategies is the GPS for your success. Where to start before you start. And the idea is there is work to do before you jump in. And it's so funny because, you know, all these years later, 15 years later, Pivotry in motion is the where to start. It is literally the where to start. And it's so funny that I created the concept itself and then the linchpin, the actual focal point, once I had already helped, I don't know, a couple hundred people. And who I help, and Maggie will attest to this, and Eddie and Susan and anybody else who's chiming in, and certainly you people on LinkedIn, I help people who have heard themselves in there say, now what? Because right before now what, the recognition was, I got nothing. This has just happened, or I have just perceived that it has been happening, and I got nothing. Now what? We very seldom find ourselves in that place. It's terrifying. It feels like we have no rudder, we have no anchor. The rope came loose at the dock. Good morning, Rhea. How are you, my dear? And so a now what strategy is like getting your hands on the playbook after we thought it was lost. Oh, okay. Where were we? Is the next immediate thing we say after we lick our finger and open and turn the page. What we are looking for, all of us, each of us in our own way, is the next step because we hit a wall. You owe me a huge thank you. Good heavens, my dear. What on earth have I done? And you're welcome. Does it not cost calories? Is it legal? Is it non-fattening? All right then. Where we are today, pretty much every day, you know, we look at the world around us on this particular Tuesday and we say the world has never been like this before. That's right, because the world has never been January the 9th, 2026 before. It doesn't mean that our lives and life in general and the machinations and the permutations have not happened before. They just look different here, now, through our eyes. Okay, here we go. I got some extra money and I went to the art store. You took my advice to start your art again? I got new pastels, yes, and paints, and I have been making some beautiful new... Rhea, congratulations, honey. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Rhea has just navigated her moment. Let's all give her the applause she deserves. We are not worthy. I'm finding my own art style. Yes, yes, and working back to creating after a long time being stuck. You're free again. Yes, yes. Rhea is our poster child today for now what strategies. Depression doesn't have to win. You know what I think about depression, Rhea? I think depression because, oh, you're so welcome. Depression, Rhea, as far as I'm concerned, is where we end up when we suppress the things we wanted to say and couldn't find a way. The things we wanted to do and be, and they just seemed like impossibilities. So we held them down. We held them back. And I think myself personally, it's a function of many emotions all jumbled up. It is rage caged. It is venting held back. It is the need to scream masked. And then we bury it. And as we bury it, it becomes a weight. It becomes this damp gray weight. And I think that if we all redefined depression, not as a noun, it's a verb. It's a process of suppressing and repressing and depressing what we really need and deserve and must express. And there are just times when we do not feel we can or we should, when in fact we must. And I think, Rhea, you know, the antidepressant isn't a pill or a vitamin supplement. It's permission. It's permission to take aim at the people who think they know what they're talking about when they say raise your vibration, raise your energy. Our vibration and our energy is already up. The only thing that's holding it down is the stress. The only thing that's holding us down is our concern, our worry that we won't fit in, that we won't be accepted. When we let go of the toxic cheese doodles and the barnacle buddies holding us back, there's nothing to stop us. I do not believe that it is purely chemical, that it is originated within the body. I believe that the subconscious brain, which works on emotion, has felt that it is not safe to express that feeling. And so that brain triggers the release of that chemical that causes us to dial down. What we don't realize when we dial down and we dial back, the subconscious brain thinks that it is saving us, but it's not, because we are shifting out of thrive into survive, and we're gradually lowering and lowering the dial. And the body doesn't know that. The brain doesn't know that. And this is a big reason that, Mike, Rhea, thank you so much for coming on today. And thank you so much for sharing this, because this is the ultimate example of a now what strategy in action. It is the GPS for your success. You took a second look at your navigational tools, at your little boat, at who you are and the horizon. And you said, what the actual am I doing? And why am I doing it? And then you took action. And whether it was me galvanizing you, or any number of contributions and connections that made that all happen, let's call that a now what strategic win, shall we? Let's call that an example of Pivotry in motion. And as I'm working through on the books, I think probably you and I have to have a chat, because I think we have to include that, don't you? Pivotry in motion. So glad you had a free morning today. Yes, you've missed my lives. You've missed my lives and these lives, and you've missed our lives. We've missed you too. So it is the expression of emotions that isn't allowed to be expressed. Yes. It felt safe to just get quiet and hide, but I had to use that energy to break free. Yes, you do. You know, there's a very interesting definition I saw the other day, and I wrote it down, and I think it's really important. And I'm going to share it with you. So if you have your weapons of mass construction, I will repeat it a couple of times because this is powerful. Okay. Yes, Eddie, go. Tell her how fabulous she is. So it is the definition of belief. What is belief? And here it is. Belief is an agreement we make with a statement, an idea, an observation, whether it is true or not. And because a belief lives in our emotions, in our subconscious brain, you can't word us out of it. You can't argue us out of it. Our belief is an agreement we make with an idea, a concept, a statement, an event, whether it is true or not. Belief and fact are not necessarily on the same page. A fact is a tangible thing, proven, substantiated, validated. A belief is a feeling, a sensation that lives in here, and it is based on an agreement we make. Whether that thing we agree on is fact or fiction, true or not. If we believe we can, we can. If we believe we can't, we can't. Whether those things are true or not. How we change our beliefs, how we change our perspective, how we change our purpose and our focus and embrace a new direction and passion must be done physically. We must oversee, we must override the pattern we have previously set. How do we override a pattern? We create a new pattern. We create a new definition of what we believe, and we keep restating it. We keep acting on it. We create a new definition of where we're going and why. We create a new routine every morning, and we act on it every day. And gradually, with no work on our part, the other pattern simply fades away. Now, I spoke to a teacher the other day who said that she had repatterned her kids in class in less than a week. In less than a week. And how she did it was a combination of something that touched them intellectually, strategically, and emotionally at the same time. And because it hit all three at the same time, all three of the operating brains were in alignment, and she did it every day, that cemented and was stronger than immediately, practically. It wasn't one of these 30-day, 90-day things. So recovery, reset, and realignment is possible when we want it, as long as we understand how we get it. So Rhea, I'm glad that we connected. I'm glad that you were listening. I'm glad that some aspect of what every one of us has been saying triggered something in you that caused you to say, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. That's not helping. I'm stopping. And you did. And we are so proud of you. So now, having said that, because I needed to stay on this, what is it you're saying? Apparently, Freddie still can't communicate with you here. I can see his messages, though. Okay, well, as long as you can see his messages, Eddie, would you please tell? Well, Freddie must be able to tell me, hear me, right? So, Freddie, I am so sorry. I don't understand why this is happening. I'm missing your comments, of course. However, the good news is, and focus on this, my dear friend, when the video is done and I go back through, I see all the comments. I don't miss them. I just don't get to type comment on them in real time, but I don't miss them. So we're still connected. It's just a little even more virtual than normal. And by the way, this is a metaphor. The difference between us creating a new pattern is a new habit. If you do the new pattern enough times, it's automatic, Eddie. That's how habits are habits. I love you. So write this one down for sure. Yeah. Thank you all for the support. We guys are awesome. Ray is right. We're awesome. We're walking here. We got this. And we didn't even need to do it with a feather boa. Okay. So my friends and family and loved ones and enjoyers from afar, when the bottom fell out of my career through no fault of anyone's, it's just the way show business is. You're on until you're not. I suddenly realized I didn't have a backup plan. And it scared the living daylights out of me because I had just assumed it would keep going. Really? Why wouldn't it? Oh, history. I should read it? Okay. So what did I do? Well, after the screaming and running in circles and panicking, I did an intake on myself. I want to explain to you how and now what strategies session works. It's like going to the doctor. You do an intake. How long have you been coughing like that? When was the last time anybody told you not to wear that shirt? And you kind of give the specialist an indication of where you are, your global positioning system, your gravity positioning system, how stuck you are. And then you explain the things that you have wanted to do and are still wanting to do. And the specialist brings something to the table that we never really think about. And what the specialist brings to the table is an understanding that because we don't live in a vacuum, we don't live in a vacuum. I may be the only one in here, except for Valerie. I may be the only one in here, in this room, in this apartment, but I'm not the only one in the building, and I'm certainly not the only one on the block, and I'm not the only one in the city, right? None of us is completely isolated or alone. And that means that every day we are actually operating within a system. Like two of my former clients are trained, certified as family systems experts. When there's a problem in a family, a couples therapy, couples system, individuals work in collaboration with each other. We're independent, but we're interconnected, like the different components in a system. And when you have to take your car in, when you go to the doctor, the specialist is going to look at what isn't working and what may have caused it and what is being impacted by that, because nothing stands alone, right? So a now what strategy is exactly that. How are you doing? Not great. On a scale of 1 to 10, 3. I see. Allow me to get out my intake. What do you do? What do you normally do? What would you rather do? Why aren't you doing it? I ask the most unhelpful questions. Everybody feels set upon, put upon. What do you do? Why? Why not? And what would you rather do? If you could, what would you rather do? Take all the things out of the way, and what would you rather do? And what this does is it's a reset button, like, restarting your computer. It takes you back to just before you made that really interesting spelling mistake. It takes you back to just before you saved that really important document. Fire engine, not coming here. You can hear it because I have the windows open. It's quite warm and the breeze is lovely. So now what strategies are for people at a crossroads? And we are all at crossroads. Sometimes we are at crossroads and we don't even know it. I want to ask a question. Rob, how kind, how inspiring I am. Brain injury and your analogies resonate. I host a podcast for survivors of all things neurological. Oh, and you'd love to invite me to be a guest on your program? Rob, I'm in. Let's do that. Yeah, that's right. They're coming for us. Rhea, I want to ask you a question. Do you and I don't want to ask you, have you feel embarrassed. Did you at one point wake up one day and realize that you had been depressed for a while? Was there did you have your moment and say, where did that begin? Or did you have a crushing event? And again, no need to explain. Did you have a crushing event and just found it increasingly difficult to get up again? Because I think everyone from time to time goes through something crushing. Rob, we will definitely talk. Let me just do that, Rob. BAUGH. Okay. Rob, are you on Facebook? Let me know if you're on Facebook, and let me know if you're not on Facebook where I can find you. Oh, you say, hang on a second now. Rhea says, you noticed it but ignored it and fought it, then your service dog. Okay. A combination. Awesome. Okay, I will get in touch with you. We will speak at a higher level. Okay, so things were not going well, and then the wall, losing your healing partner. I'm so sorry. That is, there aren't words. There simply aren't words for that. So now, oh, excellent. I will. Thank you. Um, there are no words for moments like this, for experiences like this, Rhea. And the reason there are no words is because our emotions live in the subconscious brain that is pre-verbal. So while we can try and apply words to it, there is always this huge lag. And then you found my live videos and you helped me. Oh, well, thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Rhea. I need to reach out to you. We need to talk about this. We need to add you to the stories in the book about the stories, because we have one book that is on the stories of the people that have talked to me about their lives, and we need to include you. When I lost hope on the reality of the world, I gave it back. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. I gave you. Hang on just a second, everybody. All right. And possibly a tissue. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. Rhea, you are the best anti-barnacle buddy a person could find. Thank you. You realized you were going to be okay. I just had to get back to being free. And you found that here. You know, the opening of the first book in the series, the Pivotry in Motion foundation book, is an image of a flock of birds flying in a V toward a sunrise. The thing is that in the foreground, the flock of birds aren't birds; they're chain links, and the birds gradually, you see them, they have broken free from the chains, and they are flying free because they have chosen to be. And the quote that I have under it on the inside page is Paul McCartney from Blackbird, and the quote is, "You were only waiting for this moment to arrive." So I would prefer, because it's, hey, it's a good tears. I would prefer for all of us to be able to take ownership of this together. We are all waiting for our moment to arrive. What none of us realize is the moment is waiting for us. It's a two-way street. The moment is here. It's opportunity. It's standing behind us going, hello, hello. What does a person have to do? That's what's really going on. And when we are fixated on this perspective and we turn our heads and we think, good heavens, how long has that been there? And I think that's when there's a little bit of a self-laugh and hope wakes up and says, oh, all right then, let's do this. I think that's how it works. What are you saying here, Eddie? We are here not just for each other, but with each other. Yes, Eddie, absolutely. Absolutely, we are here with each other. And I am, I just opened the door and said, come on in. It's not raining in here. Oh, yeah. So everything that we are doing here on the ABCAST is setting the stage. The curtain is going up. The audience is here. It's our show. And we got nothing to prove. They're here just because we are here. And who are they? Every single other creature, every single other component in the universe is here with us, for us, the way Eddie said. And this is our moment, and it has arrived. And every one of these details, every one of these bits and pieces of information. This is, by the way, ABCAST 468. Twice a week, except for extreme situations, that we have been doing this together, the and me. And we are doing it to build the foundation upon which Pivotry in Motion stands. We are doing this to build the boat and to set our sights, to navigate. The interesting thing when we were developing Now What Strategies, my clever friend, yes, I know, right? My clever friend who worked with me on the slogan, where to start before you start, the GPS for your success. She said, she was doodling. We were on a call, right? She was doodling. She said, "Oh my God, look at this." And what she had doodled was 4 points of a compass, right? And the N was at the top, right? And the S was at the bottom. And the W would be, when you're looking at it, the W would be on your left hand. And the question mark is on your right. And when you read, because you look at it, it's NWS question mark, Now What Strategies. Now What Strategies, NWS is the 4 points of our compass. It is what we use to navigate. It is how we find our way. How awesome is that? So that's been in my life. Oh, and I must show you. This is the corporate artwork. And you know how Staples came up with the easy button? Mine is a question mark, because the question mark is infinite possibility. It is, in fact, now what? It is, in fact, strategic. So I have been using this since 2006. Isn't that incredible? I even did, where are they here? Notebooks. So, and it's always been there. It's always been a part of everything that I do. Every client that I work with. Don't you love that? It's so clear. It's, where the hell am I? And how the hell do I get where I'm going? It's a now what strategy. And so that's what we are doing today. And that's what these videos have been from the beginning. They're now what strategies. And Pivotry in motion is the moment in our processing when the part of our brain sees what it has not been able to see. And it says, there, that. And once we know it, once we see it, once we feel it, we taste it, the next thing happens. Because the next thing is a habit. The next thing that happens is planning and action, because we've had the initial aha. Once we've had the aha, we can never unhave it. Once you know a thing, you can't unknow it. When you know you're done, you're done. It's just a matter of time how to undo it and move on, what the steps are. The most recent time for me was last fall, when I suddenly realized that I was done with something. And the pieces came together without me really clearly realizing it, until all of a sudden I looked at it and the puzzle, the last piece had gone click into the puzzle. And I said, done. And in circumstances like that, it's a quiet moment. Later on, when you realize it and you're taking action, there's a whole lot of fist pumping and ball spiking. But in that clear moment, it is a mental recognition. It is an emotional recognition. It is a physical and energetic recognition that our reality and the terms of our reality and the conditions that we have agreed to have changed in their value to us. How we perceive them, what they bring, is no longer enough. In some cases, it's too much. And there's a little voice in our head that says, check, please. And we may second guess, but we never, ever feel the same again. And I guarantee that every single one of us, all of us, as I'm describing this, you've been there. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The penny dropping moment. Eddie and I were strategizing last year, the two of us, and there were moments because Eddie was in between a rock and a hard place, and it went on for quite a few months, and all of a sudden, the penny dropped all by itself, and it wasn't because he refused to see it. It wasn't because he wasn't smart enough to see it. It's because he wasn't looking in the right direction. And when the directions lined up and he saw the things in context with each other, and he said, no, 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 no. And after that, it was just a question of which step comes next and which one after that. Am I correct, Eddie? Let me know, because it was amazing. I could almost hear you hit that moment. I could almost hear things clicking into place. And that we have all been through. We have all experienced it. 2024 was a crosswords. I said, aha, hell no. Exactly. No. Exactly. It was incredible. And I am so, first of all, of course, I love you dearly, and so thrilled that we navigated that together. That you said, well, this, and I don't want to, but and I said, for heaven's sakes, stop doing that. Tell me what it is. Let me see what we can do. And sure enough, we navigated that. We navigated you out of there, Eddie. We got you the hell out of there. And now look where you are. And if you were to give a value to the way you felt every day going to that job, you were liking it. You were loving it. There were lots of things about that job that were very, very positive for you. And that's part of the hard part in walking away, because you have fond memories of a lot of things. But all of a sudden one day, you said, that's a whole lot of nope right there. Yeah. Yes, because there are positives, but they don't outweigh what it's costing me. And then the universe congratulated you by giving you a great opportunity to see exactly what you were putting up with and how misaligned they were with your values. And all right then, gave you all you needed to push forward with no regrets, right? I'm so glad we all understand this journey. Rhea, we are all here with you. You should be selling out arenas. This is awesome. Well, Mr. Rob, then maybe you have to help me do that. What do you say? We're going to talk. I'll email you. We'll chat at a higher level. It'll be fabulous. What are you going to be wearing? You miss the customers, but not at the expense of my sanity. You know the thing. The thing that is so important. Just have to click something here. Yes, there we go. The thing that is so important to remember, and Eddie, you've been so generous in sharing this, over the time that we talked about it. We, in kindness and in compassion and in a genuinely normal and natural survival mechanism to create and recreate family dynamic, to create the hierarchy in the cave, in the family, in the tribe, in the pride. The reason we do that is because it works. It's because that's how we're all still here. The fact that we dress it up and we call it different things, and we attach words all over it and busy pictures and whatnot, doesn't take away from the fact that this is how creatures survive exactly the way we all behave. You'll help in every way possible. So Rob is saying that I should sell out arenas, and I'm saying, what a good idea. And Rhea, Abby, you can so see it. Oh, really? Are you going to do the artwork for the posters? No, let me rephrase that. Is it ready yet? What's keeping you? You're working in acrylics. You can't claim it's not dry. So we got a team going on here. All right, then. So the journey that we are on is getting us to that place where we are our optimum best. You'll write the theme music. Alrighty. Eddie's going to write the theme music. If we are at our optimum best, then every challenge that comes along, every struggle, it's not that they are smaller. It's not that they are any less. It's not that they are any less overwhelming. It's that we are more equipped. We are up for the game. So when we get rid of the things that are holding us back, when we get rid of the barnacle buddies, when we take a close look at the things that are poaching our boundaries, that we are allowing for any number of reasons. And one of the things, Rob, you and I are going to talk about this at length. Eddie and I already have talked about it over the years. Rhea, we've talked into it a little bit. What I bring to the table isn't wisdom and vision from a great height. What I bring to the table are the scars and the bruises of navigating my own train wrecks, of figuring out how, after you have stepped off the cliff, to land without hurting yourself, how to start again, how to forgive, how to compartmentalize, how to look at the lesson, wave our arms at it for a bit, get that out of our system, but look at the lesson and ask ourselves, what is it showing us that we need to work on? What is it that we are giving away without realizing it? And it's so difficult to do this work by ourselves. And the reason is we're standing so close. It's like that old expression, you can't see the forest for the trees. The reason you can't see the forest is that we are the tree. We're standing there. Trees don't turn around and say, oh, hey, John, how you doing? Trees are there. If the forest is behind them, how would you know? How the hell would you know? You can't turn around. And so we are stuck doing our thing, going that way, listening to the helpful and unhelpful voices that may or may not have the faintest idea what they're saying, with or without agendas. And it's a wonder that we get as far as we do. So I bring all of that baggage. And I say, the only reason I know all this and you don't is that I have been doing it longer than you. And I have lucked into some extraordinary clients who educated me along the way. And that's the truth. And nothing but. So, and now what strategy? Because we're getting on we're almost at 10 to 11 and I don't want to drag this on. Abby at the CTC selling out TD Place. All right, let's get to Rogers Stadium and beyond. I love it. I love it. We could have a stage band and all. Oh, you know what? I know two bands. I know two bands exceptionally well. And I know a whole lot of musicians who were royally ticked off when I got recognized by Rolling Stone magazine on a documentary. How the hell did you get connected on Rolling Stone? That's wrong. You're not allowed to sing. They've passed a bylaw. We got all the musicians. We've got the artists. We've got the ideas. We've got the song. Hey, we're in. All we need to do is find the place and sell the tickets. So let's do that. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to get in touch with you, Rob. Rhea, I'm going to get in touch with you. Rhea, would you do me a favor, my love, and would you send me your contact information again as well? from the last time? Yes, this is incredible. You know what's really interesting, Rob, Brad, Eddie? I have so much dirt on so many people. We could probably get all kinds of people to show up. The world needs mom. Okay, perfect. So here's the strategy. Okay, here's the strategy behind a now what strategy. Okay. The 5 questions. Weapon of mass construction, or thumbs at the ready. The 5 questions. I'm going to alter them as I go so you see how they work. So the 5 questions I have everybody do as a diagnostic is on a project, is on a job, is on an opportunity, okay? Is on talking to people about a concept. So the first question is, what does it do? The re-ask is, what do I do? And the what do I do is, what is my superpower? What is that thing that I do that is transferable, that is just my natural, normal inside me, that everybody else says, how do you do that? What does it do? What do I do? What does it do? Second question, who does it serve? What do I do? Who do I enhance? Who do I empower? What does it do? Who does it serve? What do I do? Who do I enhance and empower? What does it do? Who does it serve? What does it change? What do I do? Who do I serve? How do I trigger change? What does it do? Who does it serve? What does it change? Why do they care? What do I do? Who do I serve? How do I change? How do I create change? Why do you care? What does it do? Who does it serve? What does it change? Why do they care? What's in it for me? What do I do? Who do I serve? How do I create change? Why do you care? What's in it for me? The new set of questions. Those are your key tent peg posts. When something is going, but it's not going well, ask both those sets of questions. What does it do? Who does it serve? When you say, what does it do? Who does it serve? What you're basically saying, is it worth it? Is it worth what it's costing me? What does it change? Is it changing anything? Is it maintaining the status quo? Is it keeping you stuck? Is it looking back? Is it trying to, get on the bandwagon? Small segue to AI. Everybody's got all the cool kids have it. Mom, all the cool kids are wearing it. That would be the AI boom, right? Okay. What does it change? Why do we care? What does it matter to us? What is it giving us back that is worth our investment? What does my work give back to everyone that is worth your investment and mine? Where are we making waves, gaining ground instead of merely surviving? How are we together, with me driving this boat, how are we shifting you from survive to thrive? How are we empowering your growth? Because we need to know how we did it in order to be able to do it again. The most important thing to remember is that if you put a monkey in a room with a typewriter and a ream of paper, eventually it'll write a novel. They've proved it. The trick isn't the novel. The trick is getting it to write the sequel. You did it. Congratulations. Do it again. What? I just did it. I know. Do it again. Every book I've ever published, you know what they say when I'm autographing it? So what's the next book? And that's when I want to take the pen and stab them in the throat. Lovingly, though, of course, obviously. The ink is still, give me a minute. But they want to know. Why do they want to know? Because they're in the boat with us. They're in the boat with me. They can't wait to read this one. They read the last one. When's the next one? This is what our life is supposed to feel like. Not every day, not dancing and singing and swirling. There are days, believe me, when the microwave and the toaster are just rolling their eyes because I am lying face down on the linoleum floor in the kitchen because it's been a day and a half. And then I get up and I dust myself off. And I say, it could be worse. It could have been raining in here. And so here we are. Nobody can appreciate the gold in their hands. They want more. You know, here's a move over AI. Rhea's back and bolder than ever with new paints and pastels and endless canvases to create. So AI is great. Yeah, AI is a tool. AI is a tool. You know, you can, in much the same way, pick up a hardcover book or a hammer to nail a wall with a nail. You can bash it in, but if you try and bash it in with your hand, this is called painful. Also, need a Band-Aid now, and maybe iodine. The tools we use are not meant to replace us. The tools we use are meant to enhance us and free ourselves up to do the big stuff, the important stuff, the fun, exciting, new stuff. Unless the small, minute detail is the fun stuff, in which case, thank you. I don't need an assistant. I'm good. In this moment, I'm good. So our talk today is now what strategies? The question is, when it's not working, you have permission to do an intake, to do a diagnostic, and figure out why. It's not your fault that a thing isn't working. A thing isn't working. A portion of the system is malfunctioning. Let us go and have a look and find out why. There's a knock in my car. I hope it's not something trying to get out. Although if that's all it was, maybe that'll be less expensive. It's not my fault there's a knock in the car. I'm not the one knocking. One of our books, in the collection in Pivotry, one of the books is We Are Not the Thoughts We Think. We are the thinkers. We are the absolute intelligence. There's all kinds of other intelligence. We were here first. And with that, my lovelies, we're going to end today. I think that each and every one of us is beyond words grateful to you, Rhea, for sharing the way you do, for reminding us that every one of us feels like the world is drifting out of control, that the ground is not solid beneath our feet. We are all this, all this. We are. Good morning, John. Rhea's news is definitely worth us running over in time today. It is so brilliant that we share these things. Eddie was sharing things. Susan was sharing things when the stuff that Susan was going through. Oh my God. And Maggie and I, we have a new slogan. We are updating each other on the things going on in the tech world. And Maggie has dubbed it a soap opera called As the Bot Turns. So, Rhea, you got space. You got space anytime you need and you want. You are more than welcome. And, everybody all grateful to me. Let's get me into one of these big arenas. Let's get people saying, oh my God. And I promise you, I can tell you, I will not be wearing that outfit. I will bring her. She will be on stage with me. She won't be staring and photobombing me, but she will be there. Yeah, Eddie, you're saying it. It's amazing, and I know that Freddie feels the same way. Every single person who is part of this world of mine, every single one of us has had our now what moments. Every single one of us has gone and is going through our Pivotry in motion recognition, gobsmacking awakening, whether it's corporate, whether it's career, whether it's personal, whether it's relationship, whatever level it is, we are having our moments and we're having them together. So I thank you all. Today is the beginning of something. Before I go, I just want to say this weekend was the anniversary of D-Day, 1944, June 6th. And it was the anniversary of a lot of young men and women going off to fight somebody else's battles for them. And they did it because they believed and they acted upon their belief. And this weekend, my business partner Gary and I went to the Aviation Museum. It's pretty spectacular to be in Ottawa, Canada, which is where the headquarters for the Canadian military is. To go to the Aviation Museum, my dad was Air Force, to go in there and see the flags, to go in there and see the first aircraft that were made of balsa wood and canvas burlap. And you think, nope. And then just over there, the latest stealth, who's it? You walk around, you go around the thing. When you come back, you realize you're looking at today and yesterday, and they're just, they're not far apart. And in between there are the space capsules and the Canadarm. And you say, what we together can do, nothing can overshine. All you have to do is go and stand there for a little while. So every D-Day, every Remembrance Day are two big family anniversaries in my life. December 5th is my I didn't die in the car wreck anniversary, and April 16th is my birth month. April is my birth month. So I have 4 times of the year beyond these everydays with you guys that there's no word for how grateful I am. And we need to celebrate those huge wins. They are simple wins, but simple doesn't mean small. Simple doesn't mean insignificant. And simple, sure as hell, does not mean easy. And the fact that we keep showing up and we keep winning is the thing to celebrate. And so we're going to. Rob, you came on today. You're putting that into the universe. Everyone needs to hear your inspiration, motivation. Rob, you came along today. The universe said, fine, Abby, fine. Here's Rhea. Here's Eddie. Here's Maggie. Here's Susan. Here's Rob. Here's Freddie. Here. You good? No. You want more? I see. Well, give me a minute. And that's what we're all going to do. Okay. I'm going to love you all and leave you. Resilience, stubbornness, and drive. For heaven's sakes, Eddie, how did you know my middle names? So here's the drill. You know the drill. Be good to you. It is amazing what you achieve. Remember when you're out there wandering around and you're bumping into people, instead of saying, hi, how are you? Say to them, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your day? And enjoy the reaction that you get. And think about yours. On a scale of 1 to 10, before this video and after, how was your trajectory? And remember to hug your loved ones. They deserve it too. I mean, look, they deal with you and me, right? And I will be back on Thursday with something new and wonderful. And in the meantime, we're all going to speak at a great higher level about sneaking up and taking over things. And Rob, I'm excited. Okay. Flying to Fame. That's the title of her show. Liver and Lima Beans. No, it isn't. No, it isn't the title of my show. Tempting, but no. Okay, my lovelies. You're amazing. Without you, this would just be a rehearsal. Catch you Thursday.